Glad to have you back on Morning Flight on Love Word Expressions, where we do entertain you beyond borders. We did tell you that we'll be discussing a very, very interesting topic. It's actually the importance of a succession plan, and a human resources expert, Tosin Alex Ido, has joined us to talk about all of this. It's a pleasure having you, Tosin.
Thank you very much, sir.
Right. How can you
really
describe a
beautiful.
succession plan as an HR expert, and why is it so important?
Okay, so let me try to kind of, first of all, define it in very lay terms. So for the average person, basically from the two words, succession planning. So it's about planning to succeed, if I were to put it that way. You are planning, and what you're planning on is that you're thinking of your future, and you're thinking of success, meaning you must have defined what that success is for your organization, and then you begin to put those plans in place, especially when it comes to your people. So succession planning is basically a focused practice, a focused approach, to developing and having talents within your organization that can ensure sustainability. So you're looking at a 50-year plan. That's kind of pretty long, yeah, but organizations want to think that long. So from the onset or from the outset of the business, wherever you start, you want to start thinking about what am I going to do to ensure that this business lives after me? What can I do to ensure that this company, if for any reason I am not on ground, I have the kind of people, the right people in the right places with the right skills, with the right knowledge, with the right abilities to deliver on the goals that I have set or that has been set by management or the board of the business, for the long term. So that's the overview of succession planning. And it's hugely important because the reality is we're in a very fast changing world, Things are changing so fast. For example, COVID came and nobody thought about it, that it was going to be this long, it was going to be, the impact was going to be this huge. And then you find that a lot of businesses just went down. And that is, if you look at it underneath, is because they didn't have the right amount of people with the right talents, so with the right skills, with the right knowledge, with the right ability to be able to navigate those seasons. And that's very critical, especially in these times, very critical that every business, should think succession planning. Every business owner should think, how can this business outlive me? What am I going to do, or what should I begin to do now so that I can begin to put those things in place to ensure that I have enough people? Because the truth of the matter is you would always need people. You can't do it alone. You can't go it alone in business. Even they say, this business is a sole it's a sole proprietor business. They call it, Nigerians call it one-man business.
Yeah.
But the reality is that no one man can actually build an organization.
Very true.
It takes a pool of people. It takes a pool of the right people, with the right mindset. And that's basically what succession planning is about, and why it's very key.
Okay, there are different types of. Are there different types of succession plans? And because some people say, there are some that have to do with family, there are some that have to do with different people have different ideas of what they think succession plans are. Are there types? What are they?
Okay, so let's try to keep it simple because of our audience. Because this thing about succession planning is let me put it this way, it's a jargon in HR, and a lot of people mix it up. And when they think of succession planning, they think of it as something that must be done by large organizations. Yes, there are types of succession planning. However, in keeping it simple, you want to think the overall idea and objective of succession plan is that you want to have people. So let's leave all the types and all the breakdowns, because a typical businessman, he's thinking of a lot of things. Is that not so?
Yeah.
He's thinking how to make the money. It's about the bottom line. So, you know, HR and thinking about people and all that, yeah.
Yeah, because some people might say it's my son that will succeed.
Yes.
Some people might say, you know how some people think, even
Yes.
for the local businessman in Alaba,
Yes.
he might be thinking of his son, and maybe the boy he trained is much better. So that's why we need to understand the types, just in case people are thinking that, oh, the family succession is the way they want to go, or
Okay.
the other kind of succession
Session is
they
the way
want
to go.
So,
Okay, so now let me help demystify that.
right.
Every business is unique. And the uniqueness of the business would determine what type or what approach they would use to succession planning.
Fantastic.
So let me go a little to, you see, this concept of succession planning, like I said, is a jargon and a big word. But the reality is that it actually has been from a long time. So we hear Abraham handed over to
Right.
Isaac, handed over to Jacob. There is nothing bad in handing over to your son. In fact, you should be thinking of your legacy. Because why build a business that your own children cannot
Run or benefit from.
after? Yeah. However, if you, for example, so someone was telling me some time ago about, oh, his father has built this business and then he's come in and they've been doing stuff together, and now he wants to go out and do stuff. Now, he's free to do that. He should be free to do that, yeah? But there must be, within that business, you must not only think about your own family members, yes? Because the reality is that that family member, his interest and his own talent may not be aligned to the business that you are doing.
Very true.
Do you understand? So you want to have people that are within the organization that you can grow to also take over for you, should in case. And like I said, change is the only constant thing. So you want to think about people that you can trust, you know, that would help to grow that business. And if you do have your own children that can take over the business, why not? Let them be first in line, but you must take them through the ranks for that plan.
Now, in ensuring that you have a successful succession plan, you talked about how you need people, you need skills.
Yes.
And would, in creating a sustainable future or being futuristic in the goals that you have for your organization,
Yes, ma'am.
where the succession plan doesn't work, do you actually implement a replacement kind of plan or replacement hiring? Which would you say should be the goal for any organization? Do I do replacement hiring when I notice, because you're saying that there's some certain processes. What if I don't have that at the moment in my organization?
Yeah.
Do I quickly do a replacement plan hiring or do I do training?
All right, so it's about the objective. Yeah? The objective, so, okay, so there's this study by HBR that on succession planning, and they noticed that organizations that already that are doing well, yeah, they realize that succession planning, when they place leaders, you know, from within, they found out that it actually grows the business. However, they realize that a company that is, you know, going down or has issues, the best thing is to do what you just said, replacement hiring.
Okay.
So you go out and source the right talent that would take that business, would kind of help that business go through that phase, because you know every business has a cycle, has a life cycle. So depending on where the business is, that is what is going to determine whether you're going to need to do a replacement hiring where you immediately source for someone with the capabilities, you know, with the competencies outside of the business to get that job done, while you are not forgetting to continue your own succession planning, your own succession plan. You know, so you must be, because the reality is that even when that replacement, people come in and go, is a flux. People live and people go in and out of organizations. So while you have someone that you have replaced, you must not also forget that you must have a pool. And remember that succession planning is not just at the top level. So a lot of people think that, oh, it's about the CEOs or the COOs or the, no, succession planning should actually be considered from the point where an employee comes into the organization. You're thinking about this, this employee. You're looking at him and saying, oh, what are the unique characteristics of this person? What is his inclination? Where is he coming from? What is his personality? You know, and how can this person's experiences and all that he has gathered over the years, how can he fit into where this organization is going? And then you begin to help that employee plan and map out their own career in such a way that they also are happy to stay within the business.
And that
I'm going to
creates
be
a
very
succession
practical
plan.
with this question.
Thank
now.
you very much, sir.
Yeah, we've seen multi-billion businesses of certain Nigerians crumble.
Nigerians.
Certain, I don't want to name names
Yes,
now, but
yes.
there have been some multi-billion
Absolutely,
businesses
absolutely.
crumbling. And sadly, for some, their children were not able to
Career.
Sustain, yeah,
Yes.
maintain.
And even within even the business itself.
Yes.
that- so you probably have someone who probably has a chain of businesses, and a few years after his demise or her demise,
It folds up.
nothing really, to nothing to really see. Yet when he was alive, he had a chain of businesses doing awesomely well.
All
What
right.
could have happened?
Okay, fantastic question. And you know, this question you've asked is something that personally hurts me, because you go to the other climes, sir, and you see businesses that are 100 years old. You see businesses that are 150 years old.
Generational.
Generational businesses. You know, this passed from the father to from the grandfather to the father to the mother to the son and all that. But here you come here, you hardly would find businesses that are 50 years. And that's the scenario you're painting. So what has been the issue? A lot of times, sir, what we have found out is that those businesses had no structure from the very outset. They had no backbone. So you think of structure as the skeleton. You know, we move around, and everybody just sees us nice. We do all the. But if the skeleton is not strong, the very frame that holds the entire body, if it's not strong, that is what's going to happen. And that's what happens. So you see some of those businesses, they're only thinking about the financials.
Wow.
So they're making a lot of money. They're building their houses. They have complexes. You know, they're building the factories and all of that. They have the pool of cars, and you see them doing all the branding. But the reality is that when it comes to the structures that hold the business, the organizational structure, the reporting lines, the chains of command, you know, the people structures especially, you find out that it is very, very absent. And at the end of the day, it is the one man that is the MD or the owner of the business that is in total control of every decision.
Yeah.
And it's about decision making. Every decision in the business is taken by that person. There is not an empowerment of the people to be able to make those decisions that are crucial to move the business forward. And so when the person goes, the business dies.
The business dies. So
crumbles.
With
crumbles.
this example that you've painted and this practical scenario, at what point should an organization actually start off to have a succession plan? Do I have an organization now, I'm just 2 years old, do I need a succession plan immediately I start, or should I wait for 5 years, 6 years into the business before I can now start thinking of having a succession plan?
Fantastic question. Which is why I said let's kind of keep it very simple. Because when you keep things simple, it then helps you to think, be broad in your thinking. So at what point should you be thinking of succession? You should be thinking of succession planning from the time when you start your business. Because the reality is, anything can happen, even to you. So you're thinking, it's unfortunate that in this part of the world, partnerships are not very strong. Yeah? So people like to go it solo. You know, people like to do their own thing and just move. And they don't have anybody that can step in for them when they are not, even if they just have a little flu, everything just goes down. Have you noticed that? Everything just is hinged on that person. So you want to start thinking of people and succession planning from the beginning of the business, as early as the very first year of your business. After you have put the basic, operational things in place, you've gotten, depending on the nature of the business, you've put all the operational things in place, you've done the legal part and stuff, you want to start thinking of, so the first set of people you hire, you want to start thinking, how do I groom, develop, participate in the growth of this person in such a way that if I am not there, they can do justice. This thing can still move. It's unfortunate that in this climate and in recent times, Nigerian employees have disappointed, that's the other side of the game, have disappointed employers of labor. And for us, HR consultants and practitioners, it's becoming increasingly difficult, to find good people, right people, that have the right mindset. Loyal people that want to work. It's becoming increasingly difficult. But the reality is, because of the importance of people in business, we can't stop believing in people. You can't stop. So it's best that you start early and then keep thinking, and you will put in a lot. But in the long run, because you're already in that flow and in that psychology of ensuring that this thing is going to outlive me. I am going to do well in this business, and I need people. So you're pouring, and you keep pouring.
So you have to be futuristic from the beginning.
From the beginning, that's the point.
Sorry.
Yes,
feel free to call in to ask questions or make your contributions. The numbers will be displayed on the screen shortly. Please call in, and our HR expert is still very much around.
So
Sophia.
what are the things that employers must do to make sure their succession plans work? You've mentioned the fact that, some employers, well, not just employers, I think the government, the country failed a lot of people. So people,
Absolutely.
the loyalty is so slim right now. People want what's in it for themselves now. They're not thinking about the future. Probably because people change too. But what are the things that employers must do to engage people in their succession plan? I know that's where the HR comes in.
Absolutely.
You want people to, I want to be in a place where I think I have a future.
Yeah.
I can see myself being the head of something, and I can find my purpose in the vision.
Absolutely.
Not everybody was made to have their own organization or company. Some were made to follow.
Yeah.
Now, in HR, finding your staff, what are the things an organization must do to ensure that succession plans work?
Okay, fine. Fantastic. So a number of organizations don't even have HR people.
I like you.
Yeah.
Why do you think they
Why
don't
do you
have?
think they don't have?
They don't have HR people. They don't have HR professionals that work with them.
Right.
Is that not true?
Very true.
So
Even
how
people
do you...
Even people they call HR are not HR.
Do you understand? They're
They put
not
a fire and
trained.
hire.
Do you understand? The MD calls you and tells you, see that person, he did not wash my car very well this morning. Sack him. I must not get to the office and he's still there. And that one too will be shaking. You understand? So a number of businesses do not engage professionals. And if you don't have a professional to help you with a succession plan, it's going to fail. That's the reality. Because there are things you must do.
Is this something we can learn? What would that body to be hiring HR yet?
Okay.
In that scenario you
Yes,
painted,
ma'am.
what should I do? Someone who wants to become an HR.
Oh, okay, that's
Do I
another
go by
question.
the order?
Okay, so that's another
No,
question.
just finish this question. You come back to this one.
Now enter that one.
Okay, so even if you're not hiring a full-time person, you want to have HR people that you are consulting. You're seeking their advice.
Fine.
Okay.
So I understand you know, the cost of running business and all that. You don't want to probably increase your overhead.
Right.
Do you understand? That's understand. And Nigeria, given our own climb, you know, there are a whole lot of expenses that come. But you want to have someone that is an HR person that is helping you make the right decisions early.
Concerning people.
Concerning people. It's important. And it will save you in the long run. So the cost that you're trying to hold back on, if you do not spend it in either having someone that is full-time that you're paying on an employee, then you want to have someone that is coming in to just check where are you in your business, help you with your hiring, help you with training your people, tell you, okay, you need to do personality tests for these people, for example.
Right.
Carry out performance management, put a performance management system in place, you know, to be able to, people want to know that they are doing well.
Because and they want to be appreciated.
And they want to be appreciated. They want to be recognized. They want to be rewarded.
A reward system.
I don't want to be in a company. I've had people and I say, what are you still doing there, for crying out loud? What are you doing there? You've been earning 100K. Let me just be nice. But let me be very blunt. You've been earning 60K for 3 years.
3.
It's small, eh? For 5 years.
Some 10 years.
Oh, thank you. For 10 years. And in that 10 years, you got married. In that 10 years, the first child came, the second child came. And you yourself personally have not thought to yourself that
It's time to move.
I need to do something to myself. So yes, the responsibility is with the people because you have to take responsibility for your own personal development. Fine. However, of course, the employer too also has a responsibility to the employee to be able to help them to grow. And those are the kind of things. So you want to put, and you don't put those things in place without someone that is helping you, and because it's a guided focus process that we're talking about here. The growth process of an employee, the life cycle of an employee within an organization, it's systematic. You know, there's certain things you have to do. And along the way, because that person is not a robot, we're not in the age of robot fully yet. We're just entering it, yeah?
Right.
When we enter the age of robots, you know, and we now have the handshake between the robots and humans within the organization, then maybe you may not need to plan succession for your robots. You just insert a chip, and the robots begin to do what you need to do.
Which is imminent.
But for humans, you have to help them grow.
Systematically.
Systematically. Ask them. A lot of people don't even know what they want for themselves.
Give them targets.
Give them targets. Ask them, what do you want for your life? And help them find out who they are, find out what they can do, help them discover themselves, help them develop those talents and those giftings that they have, and then they can then deploy it into your business. And when they do, you find out that your life will be much more easier.
Because they'll carry the load on their head.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this succession
The
plan,
last question.
finally, I just want, is it really capital intensive? Do I need some huge capital to carry out my succession plan? Or can I just go ahead and put down my vision on the paper and begin to run with it without any capital?
Okay, so because it's, I would not say capital intensive. Yes, it requires some capital.
Okay.
So by capital, I mean the cost you're going to incur, you know, for example, in having someone that is going to support you on that journey and putting that plan and executing that plan. So it's not necessarily huge, especially when you start early. Okay. So the advantage is you're thinking early and you're saying, okay, so what do I need to do early? And you're putting aside, you know, some money, you know, some capital to help you begin to say, oh, I need to put this person in place, I need to put that person in place, and you're not just finding anybody that is around to just hire. Do you understand? People just put posts outside and they hire and they just bring them in. Another 3 months, they are gone again. And the cost of replacing those people is a lot on the business. It's a lot on the business.
Okay.
HR expert
Wow.
Tosin Alex
Nice.
Ido, it's been a pleasure having you in our
A
program.
very big pleasure.
Thank you
Quite
so very much.
interesting and very, very educative. Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
sir.
so much, ma'am.
I'm
Thank you
glad
so
to
much.
be here. Thank
Yeah,
you
but
so
I hope
much.
everybody